Hi, I'm Kylie. I'm the investments editor here at Finder, and I'm going to be going through a hands-on review of CommSec Pocket. I'm going to be taking you through the features, we're going to do a step-by-step on how to invest in it, I'm going to be going through the likes and dislikes, and I'm going to compare it to one of its biggest competitors, aka Raiz. CommSec Pocket is a micro-investing app that lets you invest small amounts into the stock market, or more specifically into ETFs. Why is it creating so much buzz? Well, because it's been released by one of the major banks. There are other players out there, but this is the biggest bank in Australia, the Commonwealth Bank. So you can invest as little as $50 in the stock market with a brokerage fee as small as $2, up to amounts of 1,000. After that, it's 0.2%. That's really cheap compared to what you'd normally get when you're investing in the stock market, which is a minimal investment of $500 and brokerage fees somewhere between, $10 and $30, which makes it really hard for people just starting out to get investing. They don't want to lose $500 if they're just having a play around. How does it do it? Well, it doesn't actually invest your money into stocks as you might think. Instead, it invests your money into an exchange-traded fund, like I said, or an ETF. An ETF is basically a bundle of stocks put together into one fund and then listed on a stock exchange. These ETFs are then bought and sold just like ordinary stocks. But instead of investing in one company, as you might when you invest in shares, you're investing in a whole bunch of companies. What I like about this is that it's really easy to use. It's a really sleek design. When I first downloaded it and jumped on it a couple of days ago, it took me about 10 minutes of playing before I really got the hang of it. All right, let's go into the CommSec Pocket app. So when I first open it, it opens my last investment, which in this case was the Sustainability Leaders ETF, because I'm a millennial. But if you scroll down here to explore more investments, this is where you can find all your other options. So you've got the Aussie Top 200 ETF here, Aussie Dividends, here are the other options. But if we go back to the first one, the Aussie Top 200 ETF, what I like is you can see right here exactly what ETF it is. You can see the price per unit, $27.83. And then when you click on Explore, it takes you to a few more details. So you can see what companies the ETF is holding. And then you can see its performance and returns over 1 year, 2 years, and all time if you like, which is great. So in the last year, I can see that it's returned 11.64%, which is pretty decent. And then down here, if you're ready to invest in this ETF, you click here. And you can see here what the minimal investment is going to be. So in this case, it's $61. CommSec Pocket says that you can invest as little as $50, but there's only really a couple of ETFs in here that let you invest for around $50. So for this one, the minimum is 61, and I'm going to invest 70, which is approximately 2 units. And if I like, I can invest it as a regular investment. I can set it as a regular investment. Click next, and then I get the option of choosing fortnight or monthly payments. So if I choose monthly, I can select a day, say it's the 10th, maybe that's the day I get paid, and continue. It reminds you of what's going to happen, and then you get a final screen showing you the investment amount, what your fees are, and what days this money is going to be coming out. If I click here, that will set that up as a regular investment. And voila, you've invested in the stock market. So it's as easy as that. There are a few micro-investing apps that are doing similar things to CommSec Pocket, but the one that really comes to mind is Raiz. The difference between CommSec Pocket and Raiz is that while CommSec Pocket lets you invest into an individual ETF, Raiz actually pulls your money into a fund of ETFs. It's like a fund within a fund. It's like the inception of the stock market. While CommSec Pocket lets you invest in 7 different ETF themes, Raiz lets you invest in 6 different portfolios made up of different ETFs. And these range from low risk, conservative, all the way to the more aggressive, depending on what types of ETFs are in the funds. So they also invest your funds differently, where CommSec Pocket allows you to invest $50 at a time into an ETF of your choice. With Raiz, you can also invest a lump sum, but it also collects spare change as you spend. That's spare change connected to your debit card when you make purchases, and invests that in $5 increments into the fund. So you're basically investing amounts as small as $5. Fees are also kind of different with both platforms. So with CommSec Pocket, you're not charged a monthly fee, but you are charged $2 brokerage every time you place a trade. So with Raiz, you're not charged a brokerage fee, but you are charged a monthly fee of $2.50 a month, and that can add up. It really comes down to how often you plan to use CommSec Pocket. If you intend to make trades regularly, say maybe twice a month, that's $2 per trade, $4 a month, that ends up being a pretty high brokerage fee at the end of the year. You might have been better off going with Raiz. If you intend to place one big trade of say $1,000 a year, then CommSec Pocket definitely has an advantage over Raiz in terms of fees. But it really all comes down to your preference. Do you prefer, say, Raiz to handle your money and to manage your funds into a pool of ETFs and they can make the decisions? Or do you prefer to kind of own your own investments? Like with CommSec Pocket, you look at it and you can see what ETF you're trading with and you get all the information that you want. Do I want risky or aggressive? Or do I really like this ETF? Do I really like this Aussie stocks ETF? What I really like is that it's upfront about where it puts your money. It gives you these really easy to understand themes, but it also goes into detail about what the ETF is about, its performance over several years, and it informs you about what your risks are. So when you go to place a trade, when you go to invest, it reminds you that you should pay off any debts before you invest in this ETF. I love that. It lets you contribute small amounts frequently. You can contribute, or you can invest twice a month, or you can invest monthly. But at the end of the day, that's ultimately a really bad strategy because your brokerage fee goes up to a much higher amount than if you just invested a single lump sum. The other thing is that there's just too few options for my liking. So if you're interested in investing in more than just these ETFs, or if you're interested in investing in stocks, then there might be something better out there for you. Who knows, they might be adding a few more ETFs to CommSec Pocket. We'll have to keep an eye out. The fees are really low compared to others on the market, and there's no inactivity fee or monthly fee, which is great for new investors. It's a really great way to get new investors or newbie investors interested in the stock market, and that's a big green tick for me. So that's our review of CommSec Pocket. What did you think? Would you use the app? And what do you think of the ETFs that they're providing as well? Would you invest in them? So I've written a comprehensive review on CommSec Pocket. To read it, click on the link below. And we've also provided a few other links about how you can invest in the share market and what ETFs are all about.